We'll begin the news with the International Women's Day celebration, where the First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, has called on women to uplift and empower one another in the collective pursuit of gender equality and progress. Her call comes as Nigeria joins the global community in celebrating International Women's Day 2025. The First Lady emphasized the crucial role women must play in shaping a more inclusive and equitable society. She also celebrated the strength, resilience, and achievements of Nigerian women across various sectors, recognizing their invaluable contributions to nation building. Meanwhile, the President of Nigeria's Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has reaffirmed his commitment to championing women's rights in the country, vowing to remain a fierce advocate for gender equality until the day he dies. Akpabio made this declaration during an event at the Senate to celebrate the International Women's Day 2025 with the theme, Accelerate Action, Economic and Political Inclusion, Walk the Talk. The Senate President restated his commitment to pushing for the passage of 5 key gender bills currently under discussion in the Senate, while describing women as better managers and strong decision makers, saying that their vital role in governance and leadership cannot be overemphasized.
All issues of sexual harassment that are not fake. We must tell women not to use tears to look for sentiment when they are making false accusations. We must also let women know that governance is not about vanity. So if a common seat can cause the kind of hulubalo, and then you ask why don't you want to move from the seat, and somebody sits on television and says that is the only place that the camera catches me where? Are we doing beauty contests in the Senate? It's a serious place. It's not a place that you come to look for camera to catch you.
Similarly, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Karu, has congratulated Nigerian women on International Women's Day, highlighting the importance of economic empowerment and inclusion. He acknowledged the invaluable contributions of women to the socio-economic growth and development of the country. However, Karu noted that despite these significant contributions, women continue to face barriers to political inclusion. To address this challenge, he stressed the need to reserve seats in Parliament through legislative measures, ensuring greater participation of women in Nigerian politics. And now to discuss more on this, discuss more on the significance of International Women's Day, we're joined by a political analyst all the way from Washington, D.C., United States of America, and that's Joy John. Joy, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate you for doing this with us. I mean, this year's theme is Accelerate Action. What key steps should governments, organizations, and individuals take to fast-track gender equality and create real and lasting change?
Well, thank you, Judith. Everyone has a role to play in challenging the stereotypes that we face as women. When we also talk about amplifying women's voices and fostering that inclusive culture, we all have a role to play, be it government, be it organizations, and or individuals. But I think that when we talk about starting with governments, I think government can start with enacting and enforcing laws that promote gender equality. For instance, equal pay at work, and also in sports. What our national teams earn, what the male national teams earn, is significantly higher than what the female national teams earn. We need to have that close that gap. We should also look into allocating sufficient budgets to support gender equality initiatives and programs, and of course, encourage women's participation in politics without intimidation.
Another area of concern has always been, work-life balance, balancing career, family, and even societal expectations. These remain a challenge for many women. So what policies or cultural shifts are needed to ensure women can thrive both personally and just professionally?
Okay, so we need to imbibe a cultural shift towards shared responsibilities at home, and also eliminating those societal pressures that limit women's career growth. Okay. Now, for instance, there's a bank in Nigeria that had a crèche for their nursing mothers. This can be supported across other bigger organizations that can support that. Encourage women. Don't say, oh, because you're nursing, we don't have a slot for you. We don't have a job for you because you're a nursing mother. We can make provisions at work to accommodate the nursing mothers. And as we speak, now we're talking about the theme of accelerating action. When you talk about empowering women to make these choices, encourage them to make it without guilt, and that will help them go a long way. I personally, I grew up in a home having a very supportive father, and my husband is that way as well, thankfully. But it also helps when we have that supportive system at the home front to support us as well.
Right. And let's look at empowering the next generation. I think it's also important. Earlier during our conversation, we talked about the next generation of women that are coming. So let's talk about practical steps that can be taken, not just on a national or international level, but also at the minute. And I'm talking about homes and schools and even the workplace that can inspire and equip young girls with the confidence and opportunities to pursue their dreams without limitations.
Mentorship is key, Judith. Mentorship is key. We need to provide our young girls with role models and mentors who can inspire and guide them. I don't know how many of that we have to really encourage the girl child, even from our villages, our communities. It's not just about collecting, getting them together to donate for a burial or a dance at the village square. We need to have mentorship programs in place to guide them. We also want to look at STEM. Encourage girls to pursue STEM education and careers and provide them with resources and support. And I'm talking on the school level, learning institutions. We also look at leadership development opportunities such as girls leadership programs and conferences. We have that in the US here during the summer where girls get together and travel either to Congress, to tour. So that's what they're doing here. I would love to see that replicated in, across Nigeria and other African countries. And most importantly, creating a safe and supportive environment that allows our girls to pursue their dreams without a fear of harassment or discrimination. I want to be a boxer. It's okay to be a boxer. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a fashion designer. I don't have to read law. It's okay to support your girl child to achieve her dream. And I think that by taking the steps from the home front to school, we can accelerate action for gender equality. It's not just about the talk. We can actually walk the talk and achieve better work-life balance and empower the next generation of girls to pursue their dreams.
Joy, I must say thank you for taking out the time to join us all the way from Washington, D.C., U.S. Joy John, she's a political analyst. She gives us a bit of insight when it comes to the younger generation and accelerating action for women as we celebrate International Women's Day. Once again, Ms. John, thank you.
Thank you, Julia.
Thank you. Across the world, International Women's Day celebrates the achievements of women in every sector. And here in Nigeria, we highlight the trailblazers, women who have shattered glass ceilings and paved the way for future generations. From politics to business, science to sports, Nigerian women are making history and redefining success. News Central's Bettina Nweli reports.
Today, we honor the resilience, strength, and accomplishments of women globally, particularly Nigerian women, who continue to break barriers despite the challenges of balancing careers, family, and societal expectations. Whether in boardrooms, on farms, in laboratories, or on sport fields, Nigerian women are proven to be forces to be reckoned with.
Women bring certain capacities and certain strengths to any gathering, and that if they are underrepresented, that gathering is probably operating below its full potential. And because of that, you take an active stance in thinking whenever you are constituting anything or putting together any group to think about the question of gender balance.
Indeed, Nigerian women are making remarkable strides in various fields. Let's start with Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, the first African and first woman to lead the World Trade Organization, whose leadership continues to inspire millions of young girls striving for greatness. In the tech industry, Oduayo Eweniyi is revolutionizing financial technology, making wealth building more accessible for Nigerians. In science and medicine, the late Dr. Stella Adedevo remains a national hero for her crucial role in curbing the spread of Ebola in Nigeria, a sacrifice that saved thousands of lives.
There needs to first of all be acknowledgement that there is gender disparity in this context in Nigeria, right? We need to look at the socio-economic disparities. The fact that women earn less than men. I know that in the corporate world, there has been some sanity, but there are certain jobs that women won't get.
It's my honor to be presenting
the impact of Nigerian women doesn't stop there. In the creative industry, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie continues to elevate African literature on the global stage. Meanwhile, singers like Tiwa Savage, Ira Star, and Thames are making waves internationally, and in sports, stars such as Asisat Oshoala, Tobi Amusan, and Ezine Kalu are cementing Nigeria's reputation on the world stage.
When we think about representation, clearly women are underrepresented in our leadership positions, I think probably across all sectors and all industries. And so much more, I think, remains to be done in that regard.
Despite these outstanding achievements, many women still struggle to balance their careers with societal expectations of motherhood and marriage.
There needs to be a lot of reorientation. We need to unlearn a lot of things and learn new things. And this isn't just for the men, even for the women as well. Because if a woman does not know that there should be gender equality, she is not going to teach her son to, believe that there is gender equality. You know what I mean? Women in the 50s.
As we celebrate International Women's Day, let's not only applaud these incredible women, but also work towards an inclusive society, one where gender equality and equity are not just themes, but lived realities. In Lagos, for News Central, I am Bettina Nwili.
In the meantime, the 6-month suspension of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan has sparked mixed reactions across Nigeria. While some Nigerians believe the suspension was justified, others argue that its timing coming after her sexual harassment allegations against Senate President Godswill Akpabio raises concerns of foul play. Some insist that Akpoti-Uduaghan's refusal to comply with Senate rules warranted disciplinary action. However, others contend that her suspension undermines her allegations against the Senate President. News Central's Sagir Ibrahim, who has been following the story from the start, took to the streets of Abuja to gather public opinion on the matter. Here's what he found. Take a look.
Yes, to me, I think she ought to be suspended. And then I'm actually surprised that a senator should come to the public to say that at her level for sexual harassment.
Her suspension, my brother, to me, it wasn't, it's right, but it wasn't the right process. Because if you are being like Natasha accused Akpabio of harassing her sexually, the right thing to do for fairness and equity is for Akpabio to step aside. The Senate should carry out proper investigation independent of Akpabio or Natasha. Then if they found out the accusations were wrong, I mean, Natasha should be punished.
Every institution have a rules. When you go against the rule, you face the penalty. So that is what happened to Natasha. It does not. The problem she has is that it does not study the rules. It comes to the Senate by court injunction. It has not been it does not have orientation how senator behaves in plenary.
This is not the issue that you can say this one has truth or this one has. The issue has to be investigated. So after the investigation, that's when we know our stand. But here, we don't know the truth. He is denying the fact. She's insisting on the fact that he did that thing. But I'm with the opinion for him to withdraw, maybe from his Senate president, maybe till the investigation end.
First and foremost, she erred by going to the public against the Senate of Federal Republic of Nigeria. We are not talking about Akpabio now. We are talking about the red chambers. Anybody could be there tomorrow, but not for you to drag the name of the red chambers to the mud. So I mean, she got what she wanted. I mean, the suspension and no salary, withdrawal of all the aids and all that.
When you are in a public office, you should be able to know that people are looking at you. Everybody sometimes the reaction to some issues is quite different. So her own reaction is just that it's not too good enough as a senator.
When you look at it, both of them have mistakes, in the sense that she was having an opinion. She brought her problem. She tabled the problem in the Senate. He refused to give her the chance. She appealed more than how many times. He refused to give her the chance. And the other way around, you don't know what's caused in between them that she refused to give her the chance. She has to use that one to fight for her right. It's her right she was fighting. But in between the both of them, they should come out and say exactly what is in between both of them.
And you're welcome back. President Bola Tinubu has appointed former chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Atahiru Jaga, as special advisor and coordinator of the Presidential Livestock Reform Initiative. The president announced the appointment on Friday, expressing confidence that Jaga's expertise will help drive meaningful progress in the livestock sector and further strengthen national development efforts. Jaga, a former vice-chancellor of Bayero University, co-chaired the Presidential Livestock Committee alongside Tinubu. The committee delivered comprehensive recommendations aimed at implementing sustainable livestock reforms. He's also a member of the International Elections Advisory Council and serves as the pro-chancellor and chairman of the governing council of the Saidatu Rimi University of Education in Kano State. The Transmission Company of Nigeria says that it has set a 2-year target to scale up its capacity to effectively evacuate about 10,000 megawatts of electricity when generated. The managing director of the company, while speaking to State House correspondents in Abuja, says that following large-scale investments in Nigeria's transmission grid by the current administration, the company is currently scaling up its capacity and will be ready to deliver electricity to Nigerian homes without any glitch.
With the numerous TCN transmission projects completed in the last 2 years, and new ones currently going on, as well as the 8,500 megawatts current evacuation capacity of the company, I can confidently state that in less than 2 years from now, the Transmission Company of Nigeria will conveniently evacuate 10,000 megawatts generated power. We have capacity of 8,500 as of today. By the end of next year, our capacity will reach 10,000 megawatts.
And now to security. Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff, Christopher Musa, has reaffirmed military commitment to Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, despite their withdrawal from ECOWAS. The defense chief stated this in Abuja while receiving a delegation from the Sahelian think tank and Alliance de Sahel, led by counter-terrorism expert Aliyu Gibi. The visit, according to the defense chief, is part of the think tank's efforts to study Nigeria's non-kinetic approach to counter-terrorism and the success of the nation's Operation Safe Corridor. General Musa noted that insecurity challenges in the Sahel directly impacts Nigeria and called for regional collaboration to combat terrorism. The members of the Sahelian delegation threw their weight behind the defense chief, saying that there is a need for a united front against insecurity. Still on security matters, the Defense Headquarters has confirmed the elimination of 92 terrorists, arrest of 111 suspected insurgents, and subsequent rescue of 75 kidnapped hostages in military operations conducted across the country within the past week. The director of the Defense Media Operations, Major General Markus Kangye, made this known during a media briefing in Abuja. He noted that troops recovered 117 assorted weapons and 2,939 rounds of ammunition during various operations. He added that troops cracked down on oil theft, seizing thousands of litres of stolen crude oil and illegally refined automotive gas oil, as well as thousands of litres of PMS in the South-South region.
Between 27 February and 5th March, a total of 101 terrorists comprising 11 male adults, 39 female adults, and 51 children surrendered to troops within the theater of operation. One of the terrorists surrendered with one AK-47 rifle and several rounds of 7.62mm special ammunition. Over 25 terrorists were neutralized, including a terrorist commander known as Abba Ali Emir Ali of Alafa. 14 others were apprehended, while 7 kidnapped hostages were also rescued. They also recovered 22,278 rounds of assorted 7.62mm ammunition, 26 light cartridges, 64 rounds of 9mm ammunition, 18 magazines, as well as other 18 assorted arms.
Thousands of families, particularly displaced persons, rely on cutting down trees to sell firewood or charcoal, despite the long-term consequences of deforestation. For many families in conflict-affected northeastern Nigeria, survival takes precedence over environmental concerns like climate change. News Central's Umaru Kirawa examines the impact of large-scale deforestation and the impact and also the importance of reforestation. Take a look.
The lasting consequences of war is environmental degradation. Finding a single tree in many affected areas is now a challenge. Security forces often clear trees to improve visibility against enemy, while survivors of war cut down trees for firewood to meet their basic needs.
Bawo ma kowane mota da mota da rima samari wannan 15-20 ma bawo ma mutum da in ce 1000 ko kuma 800 samari wannan kullum sai sun fita.
Baranzu bana umara zulum perfeso shango donguna isu blok soka andero diriza kaza get soka dai ka ne batsin ba na da tsoron galar wazana.
Flooding remains one of the most devastating consequences of climate change, with severe impacts on children, forcing many to miss school when disasters strike.
Policies should be made that if a tree is cut down, 10 trees need to be planted in order to replace that one tree that has been cut down. And if a tree has to be cut down, it shouldn't be cut down directly from the roots. It should be at least shedded off, at least so that it will grow a little bit better.
Climate change would destroy us if we refuse to act now. And when we make an imagination with regards to how paradise is described to us, paradise would not be paradise without making the mention of gardens. And where are gardens? You will see lush trees. So when we talk about climate change and the solutions that we will proffer, people speak about planting trees. Trees are not just to protect us from the climate, are not just to serve as windbreaks, but trees are comforting to the soul.
A major challenge is that thousands of families now see firewood and charcoal as necessities rather than problems. Although efforts are being made to promote alternatives like briquettes, experts argue that such measures are insufficient.
Education is key, creation of awareness and enforcement of existing law. We have all this law in place. The problem is enforcement and implementation.
We are going to restore all the green zone in Borno State, that's one. Two,
We are going to train people on climate-smart agriculture in order to complement the depleted agricultural production that happened 2024 as a result of devastating flooding. And that we also intend to provide a source of livelihood for people, because an idle man is a devil workshop.
Recent changes in rainfall patterns in Borno State have led some communities to resort to prayers for rain, but experts stress that planting more trees is a crucial solution.
Desertification is a major threat to communities in the Lake Chad region, as it is causing the loss of fertile land and the displacement of communities. Hence, experts advocate sustainable planting of the trees for better and protected environment.
In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
Traders at the popular Karu market in Abuja, located at the Karu satellite community in the municipal area of Abuja, have accused the market management authorities of shops racketeering. The traders, while protesting at the market in Abuja, say despite paying for their shops to be rebuilt, the shops are being allocated to persons not engaged in buying and selling within the market. They're calling on the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike to intervene in the situation. Amadin Uyu compiled this report. Take a look.
They converged at the entrance of the popular Karu market. The traders say they lost their wares at the unfortunate Karu market fire last year.
We are all owners of shops inside the market, and the market chairmen and those that are in charge of the market and Amax, they promise us that they are going to rebuild the shop, that after they have rebuilt those shops, that we owner of the shop inside the market, that we are going to pay the money instrumentally, depending on how much we have. You know, after the end of 2 years, period of 2 years, at the end of the day, after they build the shop furnace, they answer that we are going to pay 2.5 million cash.
They say that the market administration is currently engaging in shops racketeering, as the rebuilt shops are being given to non-traders despite assurances given to them and payment already made.
As we are seeing our faces here, as we are here, many of us here that own the shop, now we have paid the 2.5 million. Many of us here, we have to sell our land, we have to sell our house, we borrowed money from microfinance, we borrowed money from banks to make sure that we pay this money. And in December, as I'm talking to you now, they give us only 2 weeks from December that we should pay all this money. And all of us make sure that we pay the 2.5. Now that allocations start coming out, we believe that with the money that we pay, the fund that they give us, that the shops will be given to shop people that made the payments. But what we are seeing inside the market right now is that people that they are giving the shops, many of them are not the people that are inside the market.
As we are talking to you, all of us are under umbrella and canopies. Rain that fall yesterday beat all our goods because we did not expect rain last night. As we are talking to you, all our tables are wet. We are begging them to please come and start building the batch B. Those that they have used for batch A, they should allocate to batch A allocation for them.
What we heard was that the government is going to come to our aid, and by building the shop will be allocated to affected traders, and the money will be subsidized, as in it will be paid in installment basis. But as time goes on, they started the building of the shops with the intention that the shop will be allocated to those affected. And as things went on, the people who actually got affected were not given shops.
Some of them describe the event as unfortunate and a breach of trust.
We discovered that the money was hiking from 1.8 that we had to 2.5. But when people started coming in from outside to take over the shops, the capitalists who are rich, it became a problem to the traders in the market that they could not afford. Most of us could not afford the 2.5 to pay. And those who paid the 2.5 were not even given.
They're calling on the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, to intervene and ensure transparency in the entire process.
The chairman of the Plateau State Internal Revenue Service, Pam Wyas, has advocated the total overhaul of the tax payment system in the state so as to encourage development. This is as Wires tasked residents of the state on the importance and partner benefits of prompt tax payments. Chizoba Nyowe was there for News Central and now reports.
Tax evasion, non-regulation of immigrant activities, and illegal mining activities, among others, are some of the challenges identified by the Plateau State Internal Revenue Service in generating enough funds in the state. Chairman of the Revenue Agency believes that all the stakeholders need to contribute their quota responsibly and diligently too.
We have to formalize this sector. We have to regularize this sector, and we have to also bring them to the tax net. And if you agree with me, there's a huge inflow of foreign nationals into the state. And let me tell you the truth. I wrote to the Nigerian Immigration Services that I need an expatriate quotas. Do you know that most of the people, let's not cast the horse before time, but most of them are not properly even registered. Our tax system needs to be overhauled. And then our taxing individuals need to be willing taxpayers.
Similarly, Mr. Waya says fake documentation of residents, inadequate data gathering, and financial transactions negate effective tax system in Plateau State.
I've just touched only the commercial property. Nobody have even talked about private properties, as private dwellings. But yet, we have known how much money have come in. The preliminary things that we have done so far have even exposed that you could see an individual that have over 50 properties. And this person had never paid tax, or the highest he had ever paid to the Internal Revenue Service is 1.5 million. Plateau State is a very law-abiding state. It's a place that we allowed everybody to come and strive, but play to the rules.
He noted that once these challenges are overcome, all taxpayers will begin to enjoy the dividends of their taxes, to be seen in road reconstruction as well as other social amenities. In Plateau State, for News Central, Chizoba Nyowe.
And you're welcome back. A lawyer representing former Guinean Prime Minister Ibrahima Fofana, who has been sentenced to 5 years in prison for embezzlement, insists his client is innocent of all charges. A Guinean court convicted Fofana of embezzlement of public funds, illicit enrichment, and corruption. Fofana, who has been in custody since April 2022, served as Prime Minister under civilian President Alpha Condé from May 2018 until the military ousted Condé in a September 2021 coup. The Special Court for Financial Crimes, established by Guineans' military rulers, found him guilty and imposed a fine of 2 million Guinean francs, along with 18 billion Guinean francs in damages and interest.
Alors, cette intervention doit être considérée comme la réplique à celle qu'a jugé nécessaire de faire Monsieur le procureur spécial auprès de la CRIEF, qui, aussitôt après le prononcé de la décision, a estimé faire une sortie dans la presse pour commenter cette décision. J'ai retenu personnellement qu'il a regretté le fait que ce ne soit que 5 ans d'après les termes qui soient prononcés contre notre client. Ce qui me fait penser que si la Guinée disposait du dispositif de la guillotine, Monsieur le procureur spécial n'aurait pas hésité un seul instant à envoyer Monsieur Kassori Fofana à cette machine de destruction vitale.
South Sudan's President Salva Kiir has appeared calm, vowing that the country will, quote, not return to war. His plea follows an attack on a UN helicopter during a rescue mission on Friday, which left 1 crew member dead and 2 others seriously wounded. Tensions have been rising as clashes between forces loyal to Kiir and First Vice President Riek Machar threatened a fragile power-sharing agreement in the northeastern Upper Nile state. The UN mission in South Sudan said its team was attempting to evacuate South Sudanese soldiers from the conflict zone when their helicopter came under fire. Kiir urged citizens to remain calm, reiterating his commitment to maintaining peace.
Fellow citizens, I'm appealing to you to remain calm. I have said it time and again that our country will not go back to war. Let no one take law into their hands. The government which I lead will handle this crisis. We will remain steadfast in the path of peace. My condolences to the bereaved families of the general and his men. They have died in the service of our nation.
Zimbabwe has officially submitted its application to join BRICS. Herrera submitted an application to join the group during the minister's recent visit to Russia. BRICS has been seeking to expand its membership to deepen economic ties. Last year, Egypt and Ethiopia became two African states admitted into the group at a BRICS summit in the Russia city of Kaza. In January, Brazil, which holds the bloc's presidency in 2025, admitted Nigeria as a partner country in the multinational bloc of nations. And you're welcome back. The U.S. President Donald Trump on Friday threatened new sanctions and tariffs on Russia over its bombardments of Ukraine. This comes after previously suspending U.S. aid to Kyiv in a stated bid to encourage diplomacy. President Trump stated this in comments published on the Truth Social platform hours after Russia launched a massive drone and missile attack on Ukrainian energy facilities on Friday. Trump wrote that he is strongly considering large-scale banking sanctions and tariffs on Russia until a ceasefire and final settlement agreement on peace is reached. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky renewed calls for a mutual halt to aerial attacks on critical infrastructure following the latest Russian attack. His proposal to halt aerial bombardments on its energy facilities builds on growing rhetoric from Kyiv, Washington, and Moscow on halting the war now in its fourth year. As the world marks International Women's Day, the sports community begins on a somber note with the passing of Mabel Shegun, a trailblazer in African female table tennis. Shegun, formerly known as Mabel Imokoede, passed away on March 6, as confirmed by her family, with funeral arrangements to be announced later. A true pioneer, Shegun became Nigeria's first female table tennis star in the 1950s, making history in 1954 as the first Nigerian woman to compete in the National Singles Championships. Her achievements paved the way for greater female participation in the sport. She won multiple accolades, including a double gold medal in 1954, and remarkably continued playing competitively until the age of 58. Beyond sports, Shegun was a respected literary icon and university graduate, leaving a lasting legacy in both fields. Born in 1930, she was married to former African Table Tennis Federation ATTF President George Shegun. Her contributions to sports and literature will be remembered for generations to come. Still talking women's sports, Nigeria's under-17 women's national team, the Flamingos, will take on South Africa's Botswana in the second round of the FIFA under-17 Women's World Cup qualifiers Saturday at the Lucas Moripi Stadium in Pretoria. As five-time qualifiers for the global tournament, Nigeria enters the two-legged encounter as favorites and will aim to assert their dominance. South Africa, however, has shown impressive form, having demolished Gabon 21-2 on aggregate in the previous round. Coaches Ntombi Futi Kumalu and Rhoda Muladzi have also reinforced their squad with emerging talent, some of whom recently featured for the senior Bayana team in the friendlies against Lesotho. With Africa allocated 4 spots at the 2025 Under-17 Women's World Cup in Morocco, both teams will be eager to secure an advantage in the first leg before the return fixture in Nigeria. The Flamingos will look to capitalize on their experience at this level, while South Africa hopes their youthful squad can cause an upset. And that's all we can take at this hour, but before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. Nigeria has joined the rest of the world to commemorate International Women's Day. The military neutralized 92 terrorists and arrested more in 1 week. And we also told you that South Sudan's president has appealed for calm after UN helicopter attack. As always, you can send us your eyewitness reports now showing on the numbers to the numbers now showing on the screen. That's a WhatsApp number, by the way. Do follow us on social media if you can. We are at News Central TV on all social media platforms. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 4221, Star Times channel 274. We are on GoTV channel 23. You can also find us on Avo TV and stream us live on YouTube. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm Judith at TV. Bye for now.